2021 retail forecast updated. Hi guys, I'm Syama, CEO of Scaling Retail. We are in 2021. It is a wild year so far, and I'm excited to really be able to go into depth as to what we can expect from this year in the world of retail. Now, most recently, Deloitte put out some studies that said that our sales this year in the industry are planned to be about negative 15% to 2019. Now, what's amazing about this is it's far better than the original circumstances by which we were hearing about what the worst case scenarios could be. The rollout of the vaccination, the ways in which we've been able to open up more borders and travel, things are surely heading in the right direction when it comes to economies opening back up. In addition to the economic forecast looking much better than we had anticipated, we now also have a better understanding of where Americans are housing their resources. Not everyone has been spending as much as they have in the past. In fact, people have been shopping more online, and those purchases have been going towards different categories. But the most interesting thing to realize here is that more Americans now than ever have money in their savings accounts. Now, this is very, very important. As we're working through 2021, most people have been very concerned about the economy collapsing. What's going to happen if things get even worse, right? What are we going to do? And what's interesting is that's really forced many Americans to really stockpile more cash in their savings accounts and also to become retail traders when it comes to the stock market. Now, becoming a first-time trader in the stock market is highly volatile, but parking your savings into a savings account that's yielding some points is a really smart move. And so the question is, how are they going to be opening up their pocketbooks and when? So very fascinating. Last year, we saw the increase of new product categories that really swept the stage when it came to e-commerce purchasing. So many businesses around home did exceptionally well. Athleisure brands, active brands did very well. Brands that are really centered around the home and lifestyle did exceptionally well last year. And as we move through 2021 and into 2022, we will be continuing to see the rise of Zoom culture and digital nomadic behaviors and lifestyles becoming a lot more indoctrinated into how businesses now start to work and function over time. So as we look at this forecast from the perspective of a retail brand, we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to position the categories or enter into new categories that consumers are looking at? And how do we get them to open up that savings account for us? Because guys, the cash is there to spend. Now, in terms of key trends and where we actually see brands making some huge steps forward can really be found in a few main areas. Number one, we're seeing brands doing exceptionally well with over-delivering on their packaging promises. Brands are becoming smarter than now with that inboxing experience, and that's going to continue forward into this year and into the future. So packaging, guys, super important. The next thing that's been very important is how we look at international shipping. Brands this year that have been able to turn on international checkout and start to reach a wider global audience have been able to do so successfully, primarily because the cost of digital advertising here in the domestic US is so expensive, but comparably looking internationally, the cost of advertising is significantly lower. So being able to transact internationally and open up your shipping channels not only is better for your marketing spend, but also in terms of reaching a global audience. Most brands had a really tough time handling this year in terms of trade shows. In fact, with more trade shows turning to digital experiences, we've been actually seeing that the majority of them have done quite well in terms of being able to attract an audience, but the conversion rate is simply not the same when it comes to selling. Why is that? Well, guys, obviously, when it comes to trade shows like Liberty and Magic, when you're so used to that in-touch experience, right? Coterie, Cabana, everyone wants to have that in-touch customer-facing experience. We really missed out on that. However, as we look to fall 21, and as we look to markets opening up in the fall, we are anticipating to see a much larger buy as these retailers are planning for much bigger 2022 businesses. That's right, guys. I know it's been highly speculative as to whether or not we're going to see retail make a huge rebound. And the answer is yes. 2022 is going to be where we start to see the tide turn. The reason being, it's going to take us a full seasonal trade show to be able to really activate new merchandise, to be able to see consumer spending again closer to the fall. And I think by 2022, we're going to not just see us getting back to comp numbers of when business used to be well, but we're also going to see key categories explode even further if you've been able to strategically launch in those new products. Now, lastly, guys, customer service has maintained a huge focal point during the pandemic. In 2020, if you did not have your eye on providing a handheld experience with your customers, getting onto Instagram Live, communicating more emotionally and empathically, and being able to find ways of providing customer service experiences that are exceptional, whether that's in store or otherwise, you found yourself kind of shooting yourself in the foot there. As we look forward to the future of retail this year and beyond, we will be looking at increased enhancements of customer service experiences. So what does that mean? How does that translate? It basically means that, guys, those people in your office who are getting on the phone and contacting those customers to get those repeat purchases are going to have to maintain to do business like that even as the storefront opens. So keep your eye on the prize when it comes to increased customer service. And please remember, we are now leading with empathy-driven businesses. I had the pleasure of listening to Greg Hoffman from Nike talk about embedding values into how we look at doing business. Now, obviously, for Nike to be able to do something that is very customer-focused and empathic-driven, it's really exciting because it's a big brand. The exciting thing for you guys as smaller business owners is that you are far more in touch with the consumer to drive home that personalized empathic experience more so than any other big box brand. So double down on the things you're good at and be that strong communicator and that CEO leader for that community. All right, guys, that's all from me over at Scaling Retail. 2021 is sure to be a big ride. I cannot wait to see what happens in the next 6 months, and you can be sure we'll be back with an update on where we see things progressing for the rest of this year, as well as moving into 2022 and beyond. If you want help in understanding how these strategies can help impact your business positively, if you need a CEO to be by your side as you're understanding how to pivot, how to pursue things, who to hire, capacity build, shoot us an email at hello@scalingretail.com. Would love to help you. Talk to you soon. Bye.